Typically, Virginia is for lovers, but tonight, Virginia is for truckers as the Champion Power Equipment iRacing Truck Series takes on the Martinsville Speedway. I'm Austin Edstrom, standing alongside Brian Britt, and I've got Austin from Derbyshire behind the production booth like we do every single broadcast. Love having these guys along with me every time that we get to call the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. And again, on this fine Tuesday night, we get another opportunity with a fantastic short track, Martinsville Speedway, half of a mile short track here this week. Brian Britt, what do you expect for this short track race tonight?
It's definitely going to be interesting. I mean, of course, 150 miles, or laps, I should say, at Martinsville. Quite a difficult race. This is an infamous racetrack, the paperclip. We're going to probably see a lot of beating and banging, a lot of crashes at this racetrack. I mean, it is notorious. When we say infamous, notorious, this is the track we think of in the NASCAR schedule. I mean, this place is all about where you get your revenge at. So if we've had anybody maybe done wrong this season, this is probably where the payback is going to happen here, Austin.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty safe bet. You know, I opened the show with saying Virginia is for lovers, but tonight in Virginia, there will be none. Everybody is going to be absolutely furious with each other by the end of this one. I imagine we're going to see upwards of 7+ cautions and about 14 or 15 or so hurt feelings and destroyed race trucks. So we've got plenty to look forward to tonight in the Champion Power Equipment iRacing Truck Series. Plenty of wrecks, plenty of carnage, and they put on a good show as well, week in, week out. So even with the Martinsville Speedway, which sometimes puts on a little bit of a doozy with the cautions, the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series always delivers. So stick with us tonight. We've got a heck of a race, and Brian Britt, you've got the keys to that race coming up right now.
Yeah, definitely. This is quite a tough one to come up with. Of course, predicting breaking points, I do believe, of course, breaking is spelled wrong, but breaking points. It's all about, of course, watching that driver ahead of you. It's all about watching that driver ahead of you and kind of figuring out exactly when his breaking points are going to be, so you don't make a mistake. Because this is one thing about this track is so dangerous. It's about breaking points and being able to predict when they're going to stop. Second one is going to be avoid the curb. Now, this is a huge one as well. That curb around Martinsville, around the center of in the corner itself, if you hit that, you are going up the racetrack, and you're probably going to wreck someone as long with you as well. So that's going to be something to really keep an eye on. Of course, the third one is going to be trying to get the speed center off the corner. That's pretty much where the speed's going to be. This is a paperclip racetrack, long straightaways, very narrow corners. So you're going to want to be able to rotate very well and get that exit speed.
Yeah, like you mentioned, got to have that exit speed. Very, very important. Now, you can definitely dive in there pretty heavy on the brakes and still manage to get a good exit. You can kind of pull a little double apex line, but ultimately you really want to prioritize corner exit, especially if you're trying to pass somebody, because if they're running that normal line ahead of you, it's going to be tough to get any type of overlap, and that's going to have to come off of you diamonding off the exit of a corner and getting a run down the straightaway. We're going to move into our broadcast picks right here before qualifying comes to a finish. My pick, the only one that's different, by the way, I need to spoil it, James Harris. I think James Harris is going to come through, get that elusive victory that he's been dodging for the last season and a half.
Yeah, he's been in a drought, that's for sure. Of course, my pick is going to be Keegan Sobilo. He has real-life short-track experience, and I think he's going to really be able to make use of that here tonight. And, of course, our producer seems to have the same thought in mind. Of course, he picks Austin Derbyshire picks Keegan Sobilo as well.
Not surprised you guys going for the low-hanging fruit, the easy picks, the slam dunks. While I'm out here going with a guy that hasn't won in a season and a half. I mean, come on, guys. At least make it even. But we're going to run through our little weather report real quick. Track temp, ambient temp, directly even, 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Not a hot track out here tonight. Not super cool, but you're really not going to see a lot of slipping and sliding in terms of, or because of excess tire heat with the heat out on the racetrack. Excuse me. But it's still going to be a tough race nonetheless, as all these guys are going to be running hard, fighting for that victory. Up on the front row, though, James Harris is going to be starting in second with Keegan Sobilo on the inside there. Starting on the pole, was able to qualify over a 10.5 second faster than James Harris. Incredible lap there with 77. Starting in third place is going to be James South on the inside with Tyler Meeks on the outside of row number 2. Row number 3 is going to be headed up by Nathan Meyer with Jason Taylor on the outside. Row number 4 is going to be John Lucido and John Thacker, with row number 5. George Young and William Mann rounding out your top 10.
Of course, 11th place is going to be Brian Pye. Typically, this is his first race in this series. 12th place, Gar Schneider. Of course, 13th is going to be Red Ray Kennison. Jeff No is going to be starting on the outside in 14th here. And it is, of course, our starting grid. So 14 drivers making their way here to the favorite grid. That's probably the perfect number for a race here.
Honestly, yeah. I agree 100%.
This is a track that I don't think you want to have too many drivers on it for sure. I mean, we could have a park. Anytime you think of a parking lot, whenever you have a wreck, this is it.
And here's the thing, Martinsville, it's not a bad track on the surface by itself, but the problem is you put 30 NASCAR vehicles out there, and it's a bunch of people that are not in actual vehicles. They're not going to take care of them quite the same way, right? It's not a racetrack built for 30 vehicles on it online. In real life, it can work. Online, I don't really think it does too much. But tonight, with only being 14 racers on the racetrack, I do think that this actually might be a very, very sweet spot where we can get some good green flag running. Or I think we're still going to see the heartbeat and make them typically we see at short tracks here on the iRacing surface.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think we're definitely going to see a lot of beating and banging, a lot of aggression here. Because, I mean, you got to think of how hard it is to win in this series. I mean, this is not an easy series to miss a victory lane in, and I think a lot of drivers see this as maybe an opportunity. I mean, all they have to do is survive and maybe throw the right bumper, and they might win, you know?
Yeah, to y'all's point, y'all were talking about Sabilo being exceptional on the short tracks and having real-life racing experience, so he does have an advantage over a lot of these guys. But I gotta say, it is storms. Anything can happen. You never know based off of the pit strategy. When does he come down and take tires? Does he get caught up in somebody else's mess? There's so many things that can happen on a short track race that you can take out your favorite. That I don't think Sabilo is a lock, even though I do think he is absolutely the fastest out here. As the pace car is getting ready to pull down onto pit road for the first time tonight. And we're about to get this thing kicked off. We are ready to go from the Martinsville Speedway. Keegan Sabilo and James Harris leading us off of turn number 4 side by side as Barney the flagman waves the green flag. The green flag is out. Keegan Sabilo stomps on the gas, and they're side by side down to turn 1.
What a start, though, from James Harris. He sent it. I mean, he was able to really match the start there for Sabilo and almost was able to clear him coming into turn 1, but wasn't able to do it. There's that curve. There's that curve I talked about. James South into the curve. He goes up. And Nicholas tags a little bit of James Harris there. Somehow they stay together. Looks like, though, we do have a 3-wide scenario. I think that was Nathan Meyer making that third line. He, of course, is going to be battling on that top side. Now, one thing about Martinsville that we'll notice is that that middle groove right there can work for, I'd say, a few laps. But it's not going to work for long. Your tires get too hot up there, Austin.
Yeah, it's not only just that. I mean, you're just taking so much more racetrack, right? At a slow racetrack like Martinsville, you really want to take the shortest distance, right? It makes the most traveling so slow. It takes you so long to cover ground because you're traveling so slow. So if you have to add more ground to it by traveling around the outside, you're gonna go way slower. But there are ways that you can, work around that where you can save tires too. You're talking about how you burn up the tires on the outside line. Well, you could do that late diamond where your steering wheel is super straight coming out of the corner, and even though you're utilizing the outside line on entry, it's all bottom on exit, and you end up saving a lot more tires. So there's definitely ways to use it to your advantage, but to your point, if you do it wrong, you're going to go to the back quick.
Yeah, 100%. Well, one person that's not going to the back quick is Keegan Sabilo. He has, since the green flag dropped, has pulled away. Of course, we're on lap 5. He's over a second away now on James Harris. Now, James South, I got to say, very impressed with him so far, up to 3rd place. I think this has been his best run so far. Well, actually, I should have spoken a little bit quicker there because look at Lucido. He's coming up through the field. And now Meyer getting by South as well. So South starting to struggle. I was getting ready to speak good about him, and all of a sudden he starts messing up. I mean, isn't that just like South? Oh, problem.
William Mann.
That is William Mann Jr.
William Mann was stuck sideways on the exit of turn number 4, and Gar Schneider had nowhere to go even after the caution had already came out.
Wow. That was a hard lick on the inside wall as well. One great thing about this racetrack is it is a short track, a very, a quintessential short track. You don't see a whole lot of speed, especially on the exit of the corner. You can see right here. This is not a high-speed impact. Oh, well, that is. Maybe that is.
That's a super hard speed impact. That's
a
high speed impact. That was unbelievable for Martinsville.
Yeah, I mean, usually Martinsville, you're kind of able to get that hit and kind of keep on going. And I think William Mann's going to be able to do that. But that was a hard lick. I mean, wow. And he hit the inside wall as well. We're going to take a look through the eyes of Snyder.
Watch out for that A post. It might get in his way to where he can't see. Well, no, he can. Oh, he saw him reverse, so he turned left coming out of the corner.
Yeah.
That makes a little bit more sense. So yeah, man probably should have locked it down until everybody got by. He left the lane, but I see what Schneider was trying to get at there. You saw the guy pulling across the lane. Stopped in time, but unfortunately, you put somebody off like that, and you're gonna bite the dust, and that's what happened with William Mann. Just a little bit of miscommunication under that yellow between those two, trying to get everything sorted back out. But Keegan Sabilo has led all 9 circuits around the Martinsville Speedway so far. We're going to use this first caution as an opportunity to talk to you about one of our presenting sponsors. This broadcast is brought to you by Champion Power Equipment. Since 2003, CPE has earned a reputation for designing and producing the market's finest power equipment. With over 4.5 million generators sold in North America, Champion has decades of experience providing dependable and durable power products designed and engineered in the United States for the North American and world markets. Visit us at championpowerequipment.com for more information. Champion Power Equipment, powering your life. Big thank you to Champion Power Equipment for powering the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series week in and week out.
Yeah, 100%. Of course, we're looking at the truck there of James Harris, who is always repping Champion Power Equipment. I know they have a very long history, this series and the of course Champion Power Equipment Company, and we definitely love that, and we want to keep that going for sure. I mean, you just love to see partnerships like that on the service. As we're getting ready to start, I do believe we're on lap 11 here. Hopefully, we'll be getting the green flag back underway once again. Of course, the people that were just involved in that accident, William Mann Jr. and Garth Schneider, are both now a lap down. Now, one thing about this racetrack, it is very easy to go a lap down when you're going down pit road to try to get some damage repaired. And so there's not a lot of time to repair damage at this racetrack.
No, not much at all. I mean, you're coming down pit road and you're getting 15 seconds. I mean, it's just not a lot. I mean, maybe you get a little bit more than that. And there are ways to get a little bit more. There are little sneaky ways that you can game the system. You know, if you've got some damage and you know you're going to play or start at the back anyway, you just speed at 15 miles an hour over the speed limit and on pit road the entire time, and you get a few more seconds of damage fixed, and you just start at the end of the line. But if you go over that, then you get to stop and go.
We're all learning stuff today.
Yeah, you can learn a little bit. I utilize that every single time, so it helps me. Gets me all my damage fixed up earlier. But only one caution so far in the evening here from the Martinsville Speedway. Keegan Sabilo leading us back down to the green flag with James Harris on his outside. Coming down to the restart zone, Keegan Sabilo easily gets to the gas before the 55 and clears down into turn number 1 as James Harris is trying to fight off, not James South, that's John Lucido in 3rd place there on the inside.
Yeah, Lucido trying to get underneath the 55, and what a great restart there for Sabilo. That looked way different than that first restart. Of course, Harris was a little bit caught off guard. Looks like Harris is able to cut off the 73 to kind of keep that 2nd place position. Nathan Meyer, of course, last week's winner at Chicagoland, he's up 4th. We do have side-by-side right now for 5th place. That is James South and Jason Taylor duking it out right now.
Yeah, side-by-side for that 5th place spot. South has started falling a little bit since the beginning of this run. Oh, caution up in front, James Harris! James Harris, our 2nd place runner. Now a big stack up towards the back. George Young, Brad Thacker, and the 13 of Brian High, all involved on the inside of the front straightaway, and also I believe our 3rd place driver of John Lucido might have gotten a piece of that as well as James Harris went spinning.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see. I think this is just loose off of turn, I do believe 4.
Oh man,
right,
Meyer, Lucido.
Look at this. Oh,
that's half the field. Don't do that front stretch melee.
You don't really usually when someone goes around at a track like Martinsville, it's because someone hit them. You know, kind of a. Yeah. You know, bump and run style wreck. This is not that. This was a bona fide he lost it situation.
And it's the exact same thing as the last caution. I mean, it looks the exact same. It really does. I mean, coming out of turn number 4, just losing it like that, and ultimately what that is just getting on the throttle a little bit too early, pushing out a little bit too wide, having to put the wheel in it, and
I wouldn't mind looking on board.
The rear end just comes out.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind looking on board with Harris and see exactly what what's going on there. You know, what was he doing with his wheel? Because this is one of those tracks where you really have to unwind the wheel before you get back to the gas.
I think you're just going to see him hit the throttle a little bit early. The nose of the truck is going to push up the racetrack, and
he just had too much wheel.
Yeah.
if he had unwinded a little bit better and then
Oh.
got back to the gas after he had unwinded, I think he would have been perfectly fine. And I think a lot of it, I got to be honest, Austin, I think that he was desperate. He saw how fast Sabilo has been, and he's like, I got to find some speed somewhere. Where is he finding this speed? And sometimes you try things that maybe are over the limit.
Yeah, but you just hate to see him push that limit this early, right? I definitely understand pushing that hard towards the end of the race whenever, everything's on the line. But at the early going here for James Harris, you would hope that he would be able to, bide his time in second place. Just see, maybe in the long run it comes to you. Maybe you're a better long run driver on the short tracks than Sabilo. Maybe you can save those tires, or maybe you can strategy race. But the one thing you don't need to do is take yourself out, have to use a fast repair, your only fast repair, and then drop all the way back to the back of the pack and lose your track position in the early going. So obviously not the way that James Harris wanted things to go in the early going, but it's just I hate to say it, but it's a lazy mistake in the early going. I've made plenty of those myself. I mean, goodness, I couldn't tell you how many times I've self-spun in the first 10 laps of one of these things, but that's what it is. It's a lazy spin at the beginning of this. Maybe not quite up to I don't know, racing level, I suppose, in terms of your instincts and your just how you're feeling for it, because you're just so early on the race. Maybe you're not into it yet, and maybe we just saw that a little bit of an issue out of James Harris there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and he's lost a lot of track position as a result as well. He's back to 9th place right now, and a lot of other drivers, got caught up in that. That was quite a big accident where damage was paid out to a lot of different drivers, and could they have to all use their fast repair? That definitely would not be ideal for sure. I mean, I think you even said Nathan Meyer got in, and I see some damage on his hood.
Lucido was in it. He pitted to fix his bumper because Meyer's nose damage came from Lucido's back bumper. Meyer completely ran over him as Lucido was on the brakes to avoid James Harris, who stopped in the middle of the racetrack. So, I mean, I think 6 or 7 of our 14 competitors got some piece of contact in that one.
Much, yeah. I mean, here we go, though. Pace car lights are out. We're getting ready to get this thing back underway. Hopefully we can get us a good green run here for Sabilo out front. The more restarts we have here, the more these guys are going to be able to predict when he's going to go.
They very well could predict him, but Keegan Sabilo, third time's the charm this time, into the restart zone. Not able to predict him yet. This was Nathan Meyer's first time on the outside group, so maybe you have to have some repetition up there, maybe, being up towards the front.
Oh, already really problem. And somebody around, that's Brian High goes around. Yellow flag is back out. The 13 of Brian High with some issues. I don't know exactly what happened there, but I just saw him sideways and the caution flag flew. I'm going to take a look and see if we can't find out what happened here. 13, of course. Oh, the 13, I think, in front of Kennison, and I don't think Kennison.
Well, I don't think Kennison hit the brake pedal.
Yeah, you might be right.
That was aggressive into the corner from Kennison, to say the least. Yeah, I don't know.
That's tough. We're going to look at it here. I think we're looking on board with Kennison.
I'm a little lost for words.
Yeah, no, he definitely. There was no way he was going to make that. No way he was going to make that corner. He was driving it in like he was at 1.5 miles.
I mean, he lifted so late into the corner, it looked like he was going to take the Chastain line into the corner, but then he turned hard left, and it's like, I don't think you can do that, buddy. But
yeah.
Hey.
This track is all about rhythm, and when you have these cautions, it kind of breaks that rhythm, and I wouldn't be surprised if that is what led to Kennison's big mistake there. I guarantee the 13, Brian High, first race in this series, probably not too happy with this right now.
Well, and I want to give him the benefit of the doubt in a couple ways. Coming down to turn 1 on these restarts, being on the inside, very possible that your braking marker is on that outside wall. My braking marker is that black NASCAR sign on the outside after the start-finish line. I imagine his is similar, so maybe he missed it with a car on the outside. And then also on the restarts, your braking point can be a little different depending on where you're starting in the pack. So with him starting on the inside with a good gap in front of him, maybe he just thought that he could dive it in a little bit deeper because of that big gap that he had to the driver on the in front of him on the inside row. But unfortunately, the 13 did come down because, I mean, there was so much room. He had plenty of space to do it.
He was clear. He was definitely clear.
By 3 car lengths. But
I
I
mean,
still want to give Kennison a
yeah.
little bit of benefit of the doubt. I get it. I mean, heck,
Well, I mean, like
just
you
say-
said though, they weren't up to speed. I mean, when
yeah.
you're when you're having a restart, you kind of do change the braking, put the braking mark a little bit further ahead,
Mhm.
because you're not
If you
quite
just
all the way up
overstep
to
that just
speed.
a little bit, that's all it takes.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, and hopefully we'll clean it up and get these guys out here rolling. We're on lap 25. Of course, Keegan Sabilo has led every lap thus far. Of course, Nathan Meyer, last week's winner, he's in the points lead right now. I know we didn't get to talk about those points. Of course, Keegan Sabilo is second in the points, so this could be a big day for Sabilo if he's able to maintain this track position. Now, one thing I know, I talked with some of the fellas, I know Austin, our producer, talked to some of the fellas as well, and I overheard the conversation about the fuel window. About 130 laps is about what you can make on a fuel, run. Of course, we're having a bunch of cautions here. Could someone just stay out? I think that's definitely a question we'll have to answer here later.
Plenty of questions to be answered coming down to the final 125 laps. As Keegan Sabilo is getting ready to take the green flag. Doesn't quite get as good of a restart this time by on Nathan Meyer. Meyer's still just about to the right rear, but Sabilo dives it down on the brakes late into turn number 1 and easily takes the race lead on the restart. Nathan Meyer files into second place. Jason Taylor in third place, and a good side-by-side battle. James South, Tyler Meeks battling for fourth.
Yeah, Meeks definitely getting a good run on the exit there on James South, was able to get the position secured, and he drives up back into the 15. You see James Harris is trying to work his way back through the field. He's trying to catch up to the back end of the one of Jeff No. I just want to point out that the lap time that Keegan Sabilo is hitting compared to everybody else, he's like a tenth or so faster. And this is incredible. I mean, this is incredible to say the least.
Well, you did say he has real life short track experience, and
It's clear.
I gotta be straight up with you, man. The difference in driving mile and a halves and short tracks is unbelievable. You're in the same car, but I'm telling you, the driving style cannot be any more different. Keegan Sabilo is a massive tire save merchant, which I don't think is a bad thing. I say merchant, typically that's got bad connotation. It's not in this case, but he is a tire saving merchant whenever it comes to mile and a half.
Oh,
Jeff
no,
No
no,
gets
no.
run around in 3 and 4, gonna come to a stop. Caution flags come out. Oh, it's 73, Lucido.
73. Ooh. And I think that's Brian High again involved in that one. Man, this is not good. I think Jeff No, I think might have had a little bit of curb action here.
He might have had a little bit of James Harris action from
yeah,
behind.
I think he had some James Harris action. I think you're right. You can see No went up the track. No went up the track, and that, of course, Harris got into his rear end, spun him into the inside wall. I'm wondering what happened with the 73 there. Watching the 73, of course, he's racing with George Young. Oh, he just gets loose. I'm wondering if maybe he saw the one.
Man.
I'm wondering if the 73 maybe out of his peripheral saw the one, got a little bit worried, and maybe made a mistake because of it.
He very well could have. I don't know. It's definitely weird when he's reacting to the guys in front and in a side-by-side battle at the same time. So it's definitely a weird position that he found himself in.
Looking on board, let's see if we can even see the one. Yeah, he can clearly see the one going around. So I could see how that
I definitely
could
think it put him off.
That could have affected what he was doing.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think it put him off. I think that's a good call on your part with the wreck ahead. I mean, I don't see what else that could have been. It ends up being a very similar incident for Lucido that we saw the last couple of cautions, right? James Harris the time before and William Mann on the first caution coming out of turn number 4. It ends up being a very similar spin out of the corner from Lucido, but his was definitely not just a normal racing deal. It was definitely more of a reaction and I think he was trying to give the driver on his inside room to get around No and pushed him out a little bit too wide, and that probably made him spin out because we've been seeing people get too high in turn 4, and that's been looping them all day.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it was a variety of things there with Lucido. I think you're right. I think it had something to do with him being higher up on the racetrack, and it just you're not able to get as much grip up there. Interesting to note, we got Texas coming up next week. Of course, I know that's one that James Harris has marked on his calendar. I think From what I recall, that's his favorite racetrack. And I know last season he was saying that, hey, I'm going to win here. He didn't. But hopefully he's able to get it next week. I mean, that'll be a perfect end to the drought that James Harris is going through right now. Here we go. Keegan Sabilo is still up in the lead. Nathan Meyer, of course, second place. Jason Taylor's in third. A very good run for the 15. Tyler Meeks, of course, in fourth. James South, fifth. Good run for the 21 as well.
Keegan Sabilo leading us back down to the stripe. 1 lap to go on the pace car. Pace car's lights are out. So, excuse me. Do you think Sabilo is going to be leading every lap tonight?
I don't know. I mean, it just depends, really. I think, can someone learn something from him? I think that this is one of those tracks to where you really can watch someone else and kind of maybe figure out what they're doing, watch their lines. So maybe somebody will. Nathan Meyer would be one I think that could be able to maybe. Oh, there it is. A little bit bump to the rear end there for the 15. Jason Taylor gives a bump to the 77. Talk about leading every lap. This would cause the 77 not to lead every lap if someone was.
Yeah, that was a little close, but I was watching the rear chase on Keegan Sabilo, and I heard the spotter call out green flag, and then the hit happened. So he was to the end of the restart zone. He just didn't go by the end of the restart zone, which it's his prerogative, but you got to go at the end. You got to go at some point. So I'm just trying to keep these guys guessing, which I get, but I wouldn't risk my back bumper over it.
Yeah, that could definitely hurt the handling if you have a really big side-by-side battle for second place. Of course, Jason Taylor not able to hold off Nathan Meyer. Now, this is kind of crazy just considering what we've seen, that top line be strong on the new tires, but on the older tires, not so much. I mean, Meyer was able to really get that top line rolling and get that pass completed on Taylor. I'm wondering what's going on with Taylor. Is he just feeling uncomfortable? Has he just not gotten the rhythm? Because he just got passed by Tyler Meeks just now as well.
Well, and you're talking about out of rhythm. The problem with that is we haven't even been able to get into a rhythm with all the cautions.
True.
So I think that's got to be it. He's completely out of rhythm, stuck on that outside groove as well. So going around or getting passed for the third place position. So for Jason Taylor, it's just, and for all these guys out here, it's the fact that we've ran 5 to 10 laps at a time, and then a caution comes out. It's very hard to get into a rhythm and really hit your marks lap after lap. And you're going to see guys make mistakes on these restarts time and time again all night.
There we go. Looks like we had somebody moving through the field. That's John Lucido. He just got by, I do believe, Brian High. He's now in the process of trying to catch up to James South, as well as James Harris has moved up into fifth. He's catching up to Taylor. Taylor goes wide. That's going to give the 55 what he needs. A little wiggle there from South.
And this is James Harris moving back up through the field after his accident. Had to take that fast repair. Really fix up that 55. I imagine he probably put on 4 fresh tires as well to help him out just a little bit more. And he's been flying through the field. Only 2.5 seconds behind our race leader at this point, and has pulled himself up into the 4th place position. He was sitting 10th just a couple cautions ago, and now fighting for a podium spot after he's running P2. So that's ends up not being too terrible for the 55, but not having that fast repair at this racetrack is still a huge detriment for the last 100.
No, I definitely agree. But, I mean, looking at his lap times, you could tell he did take tires because, 19.5 versus everybody around him. He's about a tenth faster. So that might show that tires are worthwhile here. I'd say if the circumstances are perfect. Because, of course, track position, I think, at this track is gold. But, if you can find yourself maybe with a set of tires left at the end of this race and no one else has it, maybe that would be a good option. But we'll see what happens. Of course, South catches up to the back of the 15, so Taylor is still struggling here. Keegan Sabilo now out to 2 seconds of a lead.
Yeah, Sabilo stretching that gap out, and Harris had done pretty well running a couple lap times competitive with our race leader. But over the course of the last couple, he's lost about another second. So Sabilo's just, man, he's got something that everybody else is not. Oh, caution flag on the Speedway once again.
Brad Thacker, I do believe. Yeah, the 56.
Coming out of turn
Goes
2
around.
this time.
Looks
We're gonna
like
get a
he
look at
might
what
have.
happens.
Yeah. Just wonder if
Man, I
this
hate
is
that
a
truck,
stealth
man.
or
Yingling, nasty, man, nasty.
yeah,
That's
looks
just
like he just got a little too hard onto the brakes, maybe. Just
man.
overdrove the corner.
Well, we've got a couple pace laps on offer for you tonight, so we're going to let you skip those, and we're going to put you through some commercials real quick. So stick around. On the other side of the commercials, we've got another 50 or so laps, or sorry, 100 laps until the end of this thing. Stick with us. Welcome back to the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. We're about to get our 6th restart underway. Keegan Sabilo about to take that green flag in the Geico restart zone. Does not wait until the very last second this time. Gonna jump back to the jump back to the gas and get down to turn 1.
Yeah, these guys definitely. You can just tell that this intensity on this racetrack right now. I can just feel the vibe is very intense. It's Tyler Meeks, of course, trying to hold off the 55 of James Harris. Of course, Harris desperate to work his way forward. Also further back, I do believe we see John Lucido challenging Jeff No in the 1. Of course, that is for the 9th place position. Looks like, I think 73 might get that pass completed. Nope, not quite.
No's fighting back on the outside through 3 and 4. Did a decent job through 3. Just lost a little bit through the middle of the corner, and Lucido's going to win out. He's going to complete that pass and get down into turn number 1 with that 9th place position. Lucido's had a fair share of bad luck tonight. Was that No going hard to the outside fence?
Yeah.
The goal 1 and 2. Did he get door checked? Who was that
I
behind him?
don't
Was
think
that
so.
Thacker?
I think it might have just been a handling problem or something like that. It just maybe an overcorrection. I'm not sure what happened there with No, but we'll take a look at it. This is definitely worthy of an investigation. It could have been Thacker. I don't know, but right
nope.
Okay,
Nope.
yeah, it was overcorrection. It's exactly what it was.
I think he way high.
He just got a little loose, overcorrected it up high. What a
I've seen everybody else.
Oh, south into the wall a little bit there.
I've seen just about everybody else get loose tonight. But Keegan Sabilo, I haven't seen that 77 get out of shape once. I haven't seen him get tight. I haven't seen him get loose. That thing looks perfectly under control all the way around the racetrack.
And this being a short track, I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised that Downforce has some sort of role here. Not a big role, but what I want to really call attention to is just his line, how smooth he is around the bottom. I mean, we've seen drivers at Martinsville do what he's doing, like Ryan Blaney's won it, Denny Hamlin,
Yeah.
those kind of drivers that they're able to wrap right around the bottom perfectly, and they're just, that's what produces speed at this racetrack, and you're seeing that from Keegan right now.
Yeah, he's just rolling the center of the corner perfect. I don't even know if he's using any brake in the center. Maybe he's using just like a tiny touch of brake to rotate the front end a little bit more, get it down to the racetrack towards the middle of the corner. But obviously just really good in the braking zone on the front end, and then just lets the throttle breathe all the way until the exit of the corner and doesn't push the thing, right? Like I said, he hasn't gotten tight. He hasn't gotten loose. He's ran a very steady line up off the corner, which saves tires, and he hasn't been abusing the throttle at all. So Sabilo is just absolutely got this place figured out, and if we do get a long run at some point, with the way that he's running, I think that he'd stretch out the gap to a pretty good distance as the tires were.
I mean, he's super consistent. I mean, he hasn't been falling off. I mean, and if you look at his laps, I mean, just the line he's running is the same line every single time, and that's what you have to do around this place. You can't, you know, it's all about rhythm, and that's exactly what's happening. We do have a battle, though, coming to fruition here for third place. James Harris desperate to try to get by Tyler Meeks, and he is all over the back bumper of the 7 right now.
Yeah, here.
Caution's out, and it
Out of
looks
turn
like
2.
Jason Taylor.
Couldn't quite tell what happened coming out of turn 2, but there was a couple of them all stacked up out of there.
Yeah, I think Taylor went around, and I think George Young might have been involved. But we'll have to definitely take a look. I just know I saw the 15 plummeting down the leaderboard. Watch it. Yeah, okay. So this is just him overcooking the entry. And he just was not. I mean, you got to really. You can't just dive it in too much like that. I think he just missed his braking mark and unfortunately looped it. And yeah, it's unfortunate.
Pretty great. He was running in 5th place though, completely spun out, did a 360 in the middle of the corner, and didn't touch a thing. Nobody hit him, didn't hit a wall. So that car's completely fine. He's gonna get 4 fresh tires and he'll be all right.
Wow,
so
wow.
I mean,
nobody
best case
hit him.
scenario.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, I mean everybody had to scatter. He was in 5th place. He's got a bunch of cars breathing down his neck, and I don't know. Everybody did a great job getting around the 15 as he stuck sideways in the middle of the racetrack. So credit to everybody else. Ends up saving the 15's race. And now Jason Taylor, like I said, he gets to come down, put on 4 tires, and he'll be good to go to the end of this thing.
Yeah, it looks like he's coming back out. I think he's going to be able to remain on the lead lap. And speaking of which, there are still 13 drivers on the lead lap. Gar Snyder is out of the race, 22 laps down. But other than that, everybody is still on the lead lap here. I do believe we have changed the procedure here to, I do believe, less pace laps to kind of give us a little bit of a quicker turnaround between yellows and green flags here.
We are doing that, but and due to that, I'm going to jump 1 lap ahead, and I'm going to show some love to one of our sponsors here real quick while we got our 7th caution underway. Are you tired of the same old grilling routine? Elevate your barbecue game with Green Mountain Grills, the ultimate choice for enthusiasts who crave precision, performance, and mouth-watering results. Why should you choose Green Mountain Grill? Well, they have smart control technology, versatile cooking options, quality craftsmanship, wood-fired flavor, and they are easy to use and easy to clean. Are you ready to transform your outdoor cooking experience? Choose Green Mountain Grill, where every meal is an adventure and every bite is a masterpiece. Upgrade your grilling game today. Visit https://greenmountaingrills.com/company. Big thank you to Green Mountain Grill for sponsoring the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series weekend and week out. Wouldn't be able to do it without them helping us out and being able to put on this show. So big thank you to those guys alongside Champion Power Equipment and Blackstone Management Partners.
Yeah, I'm about to turn the grill on right now.
Man, you say the same thing every week.
I didn't.
We just got invited to the producer's house for a barbecue after the race. Unfortunately, that
Logistically impossible.
I would have to announce 3 more seasons of Champion Power Equipment to play for my one-way plane ticket to get to you. So I think we're gonna hold off on that. But Keegan Sabilo is not gonna hold off coming down to the green flag as the pace car is pulled off, working lap number 68 this time by Keegan Sabilo back to the start-finish line and back to the throttle easily. back into the lead.
Yeah, here we go. This is going to open the door for Harris. So Harris banging on the back door of second place here, trying to see if he can get by Nathan Meyer. Of course, Meyer's no slouch, but it looks like the 55, he almost is clear. He does get clear. James South almost trying to see. He's on almost the bottom step of the podium. If he can get up there and maybe get by Meyer.
Yeah, South really struggled at the beginning of this race. He went straight backwards. He qualified a very, very respectable third place. And like I said, just immediately plummeted, parachuted through the field, but he's recovered really nicely. I didn't think he'd get back into fourth, and as soon as I say that, he puts himself in the fence coming out of turn 4, but putting himself onto the back bumper of Nathan Meyer, multi-time winner here in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series for that third place position. Great run from South, being able to recover as Taylor loose out of 2 once again.
Yeah, Jason Taylor just cannot seem to find a rhythm here. He's got speed, like I've seen him turn fast laps, but he just does not have the rhythm. You know, you have to be consistent. That's the key here at this racetrack. Of course, you see Jeff No once again battling with John Lucido. That is, of course, for the 10th place position. And speaking back to James South, I think a lot of that has to do with consistency and also just learning the rhythm. I mean, it's a track like this, like, you have to get in that rhythm. You know, you start off, if you don't have the, your finger on the pulse, you're gonna fall back to the field.
Absolutely, you got to be on it from the drop of the green flag. You know, we're talking about saving tires, and there's ways to do it while still running hard. You still got to run hard as we see a spin behind the 13. He gets sent up to the outside line, but stops it. Luckily, no contact after the first little front bumper to rear bumper there in the middle of the corner, so no damage. But we are under our 8th caution of the evening, nearing halfway.
I don't know if he had any help. I don't believe he did. Take a look back at this. I think he might have just, well, yeah, he just took a little bit of an odd arc.
Oh, it ends up being a big shot from Thacker. That's what I saw on the initial. But yeah, he didn't have any help initially. Unfortunately there for Thacker, he does get some front end damage, unable to avoid the 13. But we're starting to see a lot more braking issues. Typically, we haven't been seeing a lot of people have issues under braking. But I got to point out, or at least in the beginning, we weren't seeing it. It was more exit. Now it's kind of switched to braking. But our race leaders are down pit road. A little bit of a change up in the running order. Keegan Sabilo is giving up the race lead. He's going to drop down the pack.
Yeah, this is really, really interesting. But I think what really is causing this is we're halfway. I think that a lot of that, they're like, okay, it's halfway. I can come down now, grab a set of tires, and I won't pit for the rest of the race. And I think that's exactly what Keegan's got in mind. But this is going to be very difficult for him because he's not been in, back in the traffic. But I mean, Keegan, if anybody can deal with it, it is Keegan Sabilo. I mean, he's got that short track experience. He's used to having to, drive in the traffic. So we'll see how this plays out. I mean, things could go poorly though. A lot of times with tracks like Martinsville, decisions like this could either kill you or they could, they could give you a win. Yeah,
that's the thing. I have absolutely zero doubt in my mind that Keegan Sabilo can and should get back through the field and win this race. However, this is Martinsville. We've ran 75 laps and we've had 8 cautions. It is unbelievably likely that somebody in the top 6 in front of him spins out, wrecks, gets wrecked, and he's just an innocent bystander. All of a sudden his fast repair is gone and he's got to start even further back after that one. So I don't think this thing's over yet just because of that. We've seen some craziness, and we've seen a couple guys up here in the top 6 that have just kind of spun it out on their own. We saw Thacker avoiding a wreck, spinning it out. We saw Jason Taylor spin it out. We saw Jeff No spinning it out. We saw William Mann Jr. So 4 of the top 6 in front of our previous race leader have already wrecked tonight. So yeah. I'd be a little nervous if I was Keegan Sabilo on this restart.
And speaking of that, that's kind of an interesting point you talk about. Some of these guys have wrecked that are in front of Sabilo. I'll tell you one driver who hasn't is Tyler Meeks. He's been really good here tonight.
Yeah, and I said 4 out of the top 6. It's actually 5. Excuse me. Brad Thacker has also been involved. So Tyler Meeks is the only one in the top 6 that has not been in a part of a major incident tonight. George Young, though, going to be leading us down to the green flag. First time tonight it's somebody other than Keegan Sabilo leading us down into turn number 1. George Young going to be able to take it away from Brad Thacker entering the corner. Keegan Sabilo stuck a little bit further behind Jeff No coming out of turn number 2. Keep an eye on him. Make sure he doesn't get taken out on this restart.
Wide. Oh, he thought about taking him 3 wide. Keegan thought about it. Oh, the 59 gets you to the rear of the 77 a little bit there. Yeah, this is looking like a minefield. I guarantee you that 77 of Sabilo is like, why did I go down pit road?
Tyler Meeks up for the lead. Tyler Meeks taking the lead from George Young, coming out of turn number 2 on the inside. Oh, Jason Taylor gets loose in front of Sabilo, puts it in the fence, saves it. Sabilo breathing a sigh of relief there. That was a nervy moment coming out of turn number 2, and they're wrecking behind. Jason Taylor, Nathan Meyer, Kinnison, all involved. John Lucido, I believe, as well.
James South right there, I think he might have just got out of not having too bad of damage. Wow. Taylor is just having a rough night tonight. Keegan Sabilo barely able to get out of there without getting any damage as well. But Tyler Meeks up in the lead now.
Where did he come from? I mean, goodness gracious, I haven't talked about Tyler Meeks all night, and all of a sudden on that restart, he's the guy leading the field.
Well, he's been a top 3 runner a lot of the night, and you know, just been really consistent. He's been staying out of trouble, and I think. Oh, look at that!
Tagged Stabilo, who tagged Meyer, who tagged Jason Taylor. So that started 4 rows back with James South getting into the back of Lucido, and it somehow wrecks Taylor at the front of it.
Yeah, Jason had nothing. There was nothing he could have did in that situation. That was dominoes essentially.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing any of the first 3 cars could have done. that's a spare from James South getting into turn 3. I mean,
well, Jason did put himself in that position, though, considering he did have a handling woe just a corner or so before this.
For sure.
So, I mean, if he hadn't made that mistake, he wouldn't have been in that position.
That's a very fair point. Still the wreck isn't his fault, but you're absolutely right. That's one of the biggest things I try to tell people whenever they first start iRacing is most wrecks you get involved in are not going to be your fault, but you've got to learn how to mitigate those, right? You've got to figure out a way to not put yourself into the position. No matter what no matter how you get wrecked, you've put yourself in that spot to where you could get wrecked. How can
you're still in the equation. Like, you got to realize that you are still in the equation, that you still had some part of the responsibility, that your decisions led to where you're at.
Unless you've just been intent wrecked out of nowhere, then that's a very obvious case. But other than that, you can do something. But that time for like we were talking about, Jason Taylor, if he just doesn't have that issue coming out of turn number 2, that whole thing probably doesn't happen. So great point there, Britt.
You definitely had a great point as well. About everybody's responsible for where they're at on the racetrack. So, 100%. I'm glad we're in agreement. There's a whole lot of agreement going on up here in this broadcast booth right here. I just love it.
Kind of makes it a boring booth, doesn't it, right? Shouldn't there be a little bit of adversity, a little bit of...
You know what? You're wrong.
Exactly. We need to be cursing each other out up in the broadcast booth.
I wouldn't do that to you.
Okay, well, that's understandable.
But, Tyler Meeks said this is really good for him. He pitted, I do believe, at some point in this race, and he might be good to go here. And I think he's got the speed. None of us picked him. That'd be interesting. Can Sabilo get up there and make something happen?
Sabilo definitely has enough laps. However, does he get involved in incidents? Does he get shuffled further back? And can Tyler Meeks maybe build out a gap on one of these starts and actually have a decent green flag run? Coming to, 65 laps to go this time? 66 laps to go this time, coming across the line. Tyler Meeks going to be leading us down across the stripe into the restart zone. Tyler Meeks takes off, and George Young absolutely does not on that outside group. No, doesn't either. Further back, head on in the outside wall for no, but the caution's not going to come out.
Yeah, no. Man, that was something happened there. I think he had some wheel spin or something. That could have easily been a caution right there. Somehow was not. George Young, though, go way up the track. That gives Brad Thacker second place. James Harris is going to move up to 4th. Keegan Sabilo up to 2nd. He drives by the 56. Let's look at this. You see the 1. Wow, hard hit on the outside wall. So shocked that was not a caution.
Yeah, he's trying to keep it out. Potentially get that thing fixed under the next caution. But
I think we might have a lead change here very shortly.
I think that's a pretty safe bet. I'm right there, I'm right alongside with you on that one. Tyler Meeks, he's looking good out front, but I think he's a little bit of a sitting duck with the 77 breathing down his neck.
Yeah, I mean, the 77 is just so smooth with everything he does. I mean, lap time-wise, he's looking incredible. But the one thing about Martinsville is...
Oh, they're wrecking in turn 2. George Young.
Oh, George Young plummeting down the leaderboard. So not sure exactly what happened here to the 48. It looks like another instance of a driver going way too high. And just, I think it's an option that you can drive up there, but you have to, one thing a lot of people don't realize, Austin, is when you're using a different line at Martinsville, your inputs have to be different too.
Absolutely. And for these guys entering on the top, I gotta say they might just want to click up their brake bias a couple clicks. I feel like all these braking instances could be fixed with running a higher brake bias, right? I mean, you just wouldn't be wheel hopping, skipping as much getting into the corner. So I think we need to start seeing a couple of these guys making some adjustments on that brake bias knob, because that seems to be the problem spot right now. Like I mentioned earlier, earlier in the race it was on throttle getting off the corner, but I don't know, ever since lap 50 or so, it's been braking issues.
And you know, a lot of that could be attributed as well as to the track wearing a little bit as well, the rubber, I should say, being
True.
laid
That's a
down
good
on the
point.
racetrack. I mean, this is we've got the dynamic track now in iRacing to where, you know, where these guys run. I mean, they're laying rubber down, and that could affect, you know, how the brake bias works here, and that'd be some reason that you would want to maybe have, you know, to be able to adjust it on the fly during a race. I mean, this is, I think, the best short track drivers on iRacing, you know, have some way to be able to adjust that brake bias throughout the race, especially in short tracks.
It's definitely a great tool to have, and like I was mentioning, I really think we need to see a couple of these guys start utilizing it. Turn 1 seems to be a problem spot under braking, to put it mildly. Luckily for Tyler Meeks, he was able to hold on to the race lead before that caution came out, and hugely for him, Sabilo is stuck on that outside groove. So potentially here for Meeks, could we see some gamesmanship on the restart, and then potentially James Harris on the inside skating and taking P2 away from Sabilo?
Yeah, I mean, it could happen. I mean, if Harris is really able to make something, take an opportunity, maybe if Meeks catches the 77 off guard and 55 has a better eye on the 7 when he goes, I definitely think that that's a big possibility. I don't know. I mean, this could go any number of ways. We also have John Lucido up in the top 5 as well. Nathan Myers up there. So there's a lot of different players as pace cars down pit road.
Pace car down pit road. Tyler Meeks lining us up to the restart zone, crawling to the restart zone. Super slow restart there for Meeks. And Sabilo does get a pretty poor start. James Harris able to dive to the inside as Sabilo gets a little twitchy for the first time tonight under braking into turn number 1.
I don't think that had anything to do with the brake pedal. I think that had to do with the 73 who was bump drafting him into the corner. I mean, the 73 at Lucido was pushing him into turn 1. I'm shocked the 77 was able to keep that speed. And look at that. Wrapping it right around the high side. He might get past the 55 here. What he does. Second place.
How in the world is Lucido up in the top 4? I swear that 73 has been involved in like 4, 5, 6, 7 cautions. I mean, what in the world? I've seen that thing sideways multiple times. And now he's making a move for P3 on James Harris. Oh, a little deep. A little late on the brakes. Pushes him up the racetrack just a little bit. Takes the spot coming out of turn number 2.
Wow. He used him up a little bit. I gotta say, he definitely used the 55 up a little bit there. And unfortunately, Harris is just left holding the bag. And,
and they're stacking up at it. 4. Big stack up. Yep. Ends up having another caution. James South has right front damage after James Harris got stuck on the outside wall coming out of turn number 4.
Man, that is unfortunate right there, and it's heartbreaking as well, because we got Pam Stone in the chat saying "Go James, win for Dad," and unfortunately, that's not what's happening right now. You hate to see that.
That might take him out of contention too. Is missing his complete
rear
bumper cover gets
yeah,
that's a big one. James South is hurt. James Harris is super hurt with a back end. I mean, I've definitely seen cars with no back ends be really quick at short tracks before, but that was a heavy impact. I'd have to imagine there might be some suspension damage in the back end.
Yeah, that's just heartbreaking. right there for Harris. So definitely our hearts are with, you know, our audience out there rooting for James Harris. Unfortunately, just not going his way. I'm really hoping that Texas next week goes his way.
That is his racetrack, so he'll have a chance next week. But we're going to use this opportunity to send it to our second commercial break of the evening. Be sure to stick with us. We are going to have you tuned in to the finish all the way to the end. Welcome back to the Champion Power Equipment iRacing Truck Series on Grid Vision. Tyler Meeks leads us back down to the green. Really slow restart again from the number 7. Puts Sabilo in another poor position and opens up the door for John Lucido on the inside to potentially take away the second spot.
What a start there. I don't know if these drivers are going to very much appreciate what Meeks is doing on these starts. I mean, because he is slowing these guys down to a crawl. And a lot of times that could actually make a opportunity for another wreck. Because, Lucido getting really close to the back of the 77. But here comes Keegan Sabilo. I think he's tired of waiting. He's ready to pounce. Ooh, almost side by side. And Sabilo's even thinking about taking him on the high side here.
Yeah, he's challenging the 7. Just about got to his outside. He really did through the middle of the corner, but could not get the run coming out. Forced a little high through the center. Tagging the apron a little bit there, the 77. That little curving on the inside. There's going to be a caution. Coming out in the back, 13. Gets sent around coming out of turn 2.
Man, he's had a rough debut.
Well, it is Martinsville. I probably wouldn't come to Martinsville for my...
Yeah, I was about to say, why would your first race in the series be at Martinsville? I would not choose this place to be my first race.
I wouldn't either.
Oh, another one of these wrecks that happens on that middle to top groove to where these guys just lose it.
Man, Kennison, goodness gracious. Somebody needs to tell Kennison the caution's out 30 seconds before the caution actually comes out. My goodness.
So you need to have some profits out here.
He just needs to get off the gas earlier. Holy cow. It's about the third time I've seen the 47 blowing through an accident. He scared me a couple times. He did plow into one, so I'm a little nervy for him coming through there. And we're at a short track. You're already using your brake pedal. Get on it, buddy. Don't be afraid of it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a track you gotta be aware. You gotta be able to look ahead. I mean, I race
ahead at some points because the A post, man. So you got to be more careful, right? You can't see halfway around the corner because the A post. Goodness, the A post.
I think you could actually. Isn't there a setting though that you can actually turn it off?
No.
Pretty sure. I looked.
No, you can turn off the. You can turn off the like the halo in the Formula cars, but the A post, that's not something you can turn off. There's no way. If it is, that's unbelievable.
I was looking in the options and I saw something about maybe a post or and a halo. It was I saw the option. I don't know. I mean, I'm just talking.
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Tyler Meeks though, he's up in the lead still. I mean, and he's been managing to hold off Sabilo so far. Now, I think these cautions are really helping out Meeks a lot. They're giving him the chance that I think he could win this race. I think it's possible, and I think this is just going to make. We've seen Sabilo be so smooth here tonight, Austin. The thing is these cautions, they're going to make him be not as smooth. I think they're going to make him be a lot more aggressive, and could he make a mistake as a result? And could he maybe even throw a bumper?
Well, and you got to think, too, Tyler Meeks is playing the hell out of these restarts. He's slowing down. He's not running pace speed, getting up to the box. So he's putting Sabilo in a position where Sabilo could have something go wrong on one of these restarts. And I get why he's doing it. I mean, I guess he's got the right to do it as the leader. You don't have to run exactly pace speed. But coming through 3 and 4 this time, running a little bit faster than he had been. So he slows it down coming to the box this time. He's going to be steady 40 miles an hour all the way. Still, really good jump from the 7, and the 77 really doesn't get going.
The 73, though, sends it in, goes up a little bit. And this could be a chance for the 73 Lucido to grab second. Man, the 77 Lucido, or Sabilo is so good, even on the middle to top group. I mean, it just like, it don't matter where he's running at, he's going to be able to get such a great exit. And that's exactly what he got there. Oh, Brad Thacker slow, he's sideways. Oh, no! Caution's going to be out. Oh, Nathan Meyer hits the inside wall as well.
Yeah, separate spin coming out of turn 2. Nathan Meyer, man, what in the world is going on?
Yeah, I don't know how. Nathan Meyer, I think that was a completely separate incident there. But you see right here, Brad had slowed down. I think the straightaway or the corner before this, he had slowed down a lot. So I'm not sure exactly what led to that, but I mean, you can clearly see that he got hit in the rear by the 55, and I think he might have hit the curb or something like that. And that really, I don't know. That's going to be one we're going to have to unpack. So looking back at this,
George Young almost went head over heels, by the way. We're at a short track.
Oh,
look at that!
Look at that, yeah.
Ah, goodness. Yeah, big accidents here at Martinsville tonight. Honestly, not too surprised. We kind of forewarned it in the preview. We knew we were going to have some because, well, it's Martinsville on iRacing. But we have exceeded my my count that I had expected beforehand.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, we've definitely exceeded it.
I think I said 8 in the pre-race. I think
like
we're working 12.
7. I think you said like maybe 7 or 8. Right. I think I don't know. We've definitely.
I think we're on 11 or 12 now.
That.
So yeah, we're not quite at the same point, unfortunately. But hey, I still think we're going to get a good finish. And it's working out to be good with Tyler Meeks having the track position over a faster car behind him and Keegan Sabilo. It's really given us something to really pay attention to at the end of this thing because we really don't know who's going to win. If these cautions keep coming out, Meeks is going to keep getting good restarts. You know, you cannot beat the leader on the restart. You cannot beat him in the jump. So I think Meeks is in the driver's seat as long as we don't get a 6-lap green flag run. I think he can hold off for 5 or so laps unless he gets moved.
Yeah, and like I said, the closer we get to the end, the more aggressive the 77 is going to get. Yep. But no, I definitely think Meeks has a chance here, and we also got to point out that Keegan Sabilo, of course, second place in the points, hit the leader in the points, Nathan Meyer, just smashed the inside wall, and he's back in 10th. So this is, even if Sabilo finishes second, he's probably going to be the points leader after this race.
Well, you say that, but Meyer did have a faster rear, so he does at least have an opportunity to gain some spots back, but it was a very tight gap between the two at the top of the point standings. So P2 for him, Sabilo today, especially with the bonus points of leading a lap, leading the most laps, probably has the fastest lap. I think with the bonus points, he'll take the lead. Tyler Meeks, though, going to lead us down into turn number 3 after the pace car pulls off. What's he do on the restart this time? He's slowing down a little bit more than he did last. Changing up the restart lines a little bit. Sabilo trying to get a little antsy on the outside. Tyler Meeks gets to the gas first. What does Lucido do this time? Does he dive down to the inside of the 77 entering turn number 1? Actually gives the 77 a good bit of room on entry. And it's a good run coming out of the corner to at least keep himself side by side, but the 77 looks to have the momentum on exit, and he dives to the outside of the 7 into turn number 3.
Yeah, he is desperate. You can just tell, a little bit of contact with the wall there for the 77. And Brad Thacker once again having an issue. And that is unfortunate. So a lot of drivers want this thing to go green so they can race it out. And the more we have these cautions, the better it is for Tyler Meeks. And Keegan knows that. So I wouldn't be surprised if Keegan Sabilo's not. He's probably not too happy with these cautions. And right there, he hit the curb again.
Cool. Nathan Meyer did an amazing job right there, by the way. He definitely checked up on the brakes, avoided backer. I would love an onboard for Meeks if we can get one.
Yeah, from Meyer, I do believe we're talking about.
Yeah, Meyer.
Lucido down pit road. We're going to take a look at what you requested. Let's see if we can't. Just touches that curb. And that was the second key to the race. Don't touch the curb, you know?
Look at that. Brian Britt knows what he's talking about. That South Carolina education is coming in handy.
I mean, this track is just you don't touch the curb. It's just, I think everybody should know that. I mean, if you don't know that,
you're absolutely right. But you'd be surprised, man. You'd be surprised. Those things will destroy you, especially if you're in the next gen 2 with that diffuser on the back end. You disturb that diffuser getting off the ground. Oh my goodness, it can hurt you, man. So that was probably the best key to the race that we've seen all season, especially that it's
usually I gotta be honest. Yeah, usually I gotta be honest. Those keys to the race are like they're just off the cuff. I'm like This one I was like.
We're not talking about like DJ Khaled major keys. Like typically these are like Brian's very minor, tiny plastic keys to the race. But tonight, you decided that we were going to get an absolute banger, and you knew for a fact that second one was hit.
Oh yeah, I mean, cause this track right here, I mean, it's just, it's one of the features of it. That's for sure. I mean, you hit those curbs, you're going to cause a wreck. I mean, that's what we've seen so far. It's tried and true. That's for sure.
It's so sad that the real life counterpart of Martinsville, though, coming off of Richmond last week in the real life stuff, I texted my racing buddies afterwards and was like, well, guys, that sucked. And now we get Martinsville and Texas back to back. And in years past, we'd be so excited for Martinsville. 4 or 5 years ago, we would be so excited. But I'm dreading. I am dreading this weekend.
So I don't know. I feel like they've really done a really great job on the short track package. I think that Martinsville was.
Richmond was not good producer.
Last year
the dirty
was
air
not
was
very
terrible.
good.
Hey, the Jeff Gluck pole is 50-50, and I can't believe it was even that good. That was a poor race, and NASCAR ruined a strategy that made it good in stage 2, which made it even worse. Tyler Meeks leads us back down to the green flag. Keegan Sabilo, sketchy on the outside. Just about loses it. And that's going to allow Jason Taylor to push it to the inside here, coming through turns 1 and 2. Jason Taylor, he's had moments all night, and all of a sudden he's found himself up into the top 3, challenging Sabilo. Sabilo late on the brakes, and I think we might start to be seeing some chinks in the armor from Sabilo. I think he's starting to get frustrated, and that's affecting his driving just a tiny bit. He's still the fastest one out here, but he's not as efficient as Jeff No. Goes up and almost hits the outside wall, just keeps it out.
Yeah, we've seen that from Jeff No. a couple times here tonight. But it looks like we're gonna stay green. As like you said, Jason Taylor up to 3rd right now. We've seen some really good laps from that driver. Let's see if he can maintain the consistency. It's Nathan Meyer. What a recovery from him, up to 5th. Just got by James South.
Yeah, still paying attention up front. The countdown's on for Tyler Meeks. He's counting down. He's waiting for that yellow flag to come out. Come on, somebody spin out. Somebody wreck. Where's the yellow flag at? Come on, Barney. Throw that freaking yellow out of the flag stand and call the caution for debris because there's a flag on the racetrack. I don't care. And there it is. Coming out of turn number 2. James South gets sent around. It's going to save Tyler Meeks just as Sabilo gets to his outside.
I guarantee that 77 is just furious right now.
He's so mad, man. He's got to be.
He's got to be.
I would be.
He's got to be. I mean, it's like every time he gets up to the 7, a caution comes out. It's like you can tell he's all over him and way faster, and then a caution flag comes out. It's just, I would be so angry.
And Meeks is doing great on the restarts, by the way, as we see Lucido get to the back of South.
Oh, that was quite a hit.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm laughing so hard, but I've got to be honest with you. I've got to be straight up with you. James South tried to bring John Lucido coming out of turn 2, and Lucido dodged him. And that's what caused that. That was, I gotta be straight up to Lucido. That was pretty good coming out of turn 2. I can't believe he missed it. I know I'm laughing my head off. I'm buddies with South, so I'm gonna rib him for that after the race because that was hilarious.
You see that Lucido? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Because Lucido was all over the rear end of the 21, and I think that Sal thought that if he just slammed the brake, you know, kind of in anger in a lot of ways, that it would catch Lucido, but Lucido just juked it.
He was dodging the wreck because he thought South was spinning, and it set him up perfect to dodge the brake check that was coming in. Oh, I gotta compose myself. That was pretty good there.
Martinsville.
And it was a very minor touch from Lucido too. Like I get why South is upset.
You know what? Who should be upset though? George Young. I mean,
yes.
George Young should be furious with the 21. If he did intentionally try to brake check Lucido, it hurt Young.
I gotta be straight up, right? Everybody out here on this racetrack is furious right now. I gotta be honest. Everybody out there is mad as hell already before this. So James South gets a very, I've got to be honest, a very light touch from Lucido in the middle of the corner. If this was lap 10 and we've only had one caution, I don't think that you see that reaction out of James South. I really don't. I don't think you see James South brake check him. But we've ran 125 laps and somewhere around 14 cautions. So I think at that point, everybody is furious. And I think I think we saw James South lose his head there. I've got to be honest. And heck, I've done it. But hey, brake checking coming out of turn 2. You got to make sure you get the guy. Come on, James.
Yeah, no, I understand, you know, being upset with another driver. I just don't like it when you see collateral damage.
Yes,
other drivers
very
are not involved in it.
Tyler Meeks, though, he was the beneficiary, keeping that race lead, able to play the games on the restart, coming down to the restart zone once again. The driver of the 7 comes down to the end of the restart zone again. A very sketchy restart up in the front. And what in the world? James Harris is up in the top 4. How in the world is the 55 up here? They put a front or a rear bumper back on that thing. They found it somewhere.
Here we go.
Finally, here he is. Dives it down to the inside, skips over the curb, and gets into Meeks. He spins it too. JC Taylor drives through him.
Goodness. That was a desperation move if I have ever seen it from the 77. He drove it in so deep to try to get underneath the 7.
We need to watch that back. I
yeah.
really think he got under him. And Meeks shallowed the corner. Yeah, Meeks blocked him down to the apron. Sabilo was to his inside, and Meeks drove him down to the inside and prevented him from taking the inside groove.
Yeah, no, 100%. I see. He threw a block. The 7 tried to throw a block when he was already down there. And here comes the 77 and the 7. They're coming to pit road. They are coming to pit road.
I mean, they got damage, man. They got to. That was pretty heavy at the end of the day for him. Another replay on the cards.
Yeah, just
I mean, I don't know. Can we watch that exact angle back one more time? I just want one more look at that angle. I need to make sure I'm being completely fair to Tyler Meeks here. I want to make sure I'm being completely fair. Because it's just a strange incident. You know, they're going for the lead, and like we've been mentioning, Sabilo's frustrated because he should be in the lead, but he's not because of all the cautions. Looking at it again. It's hard because Tyler Meeks is fading before Sabilo does. He's going defensive. Sabilo massively commits to the inside, and he's there before the braking zone. But Meeks is committed to a weird angle, but he should have. I don't know. That's as tough as it gets. They're racing for the lead at the end, but at the end of the day, Meeks knows that he's got to defend like hell because Sabilo's crazy quick, and so.
And I gotta say that all of this comes down to that decision to come down pit road earlier. Keegan Sabilo, if he had not went down when he did, would probably have stayed in the lead. I mean, that's just
Well, you got to think, were his tires hurting? Did he need to come down because maybe his tires started hurting and somebody on newer tires could have passed him at this point?
Maybe.
But that's a good point. It's just a maybe. I guess I got to tend to agree with you. Honestly, I'm trying to wrap it back and forth in my mind. It's just hard to give up the starting, the front row. You can't give up that first position.
Yeah. I'll tell you though, your pick is looking really good right now.
Yeah, from nowhere. Where in the world has James Harris come from? Like I said, his rear bumper was out on the racetrack 3 cautions ago. Somehow it's magically reappeared on his back bumper. And he's back on the front row. And also, Jason Taylor, how many times have we seen Jason Taylor wreck tonight? And he's leading the thing. So,
Yeah.
I mean, this thing is now wide open. I don't know who's going to win. We got 18 laps to figure it out. Jason Taylor coming to the restart zone, leading the way for the first time tonight. Got to bring us through the gears. Driver number 15, driving it down into turn 1.
Looks like Taylor secured the lead side by side. Nathan Meyer, where did he come from? As he is able to get up into second place. John Lucido gets by the 55. James Harris just stuck up on that high side. Just does not seem to know how to drive that race car on the higher side. William Mann Jr., he's up in the top 5. See Keegan Sabilo thinking about taking him 3 wide as he is trying to drive his way through the field. He got by Tyler Meeks.
They're wrecking in the back, off the turn number 4, James South, Brad Thacker. Another huge impact and another big restart coming up.
Man. Look at that. Brad Thacker gets tagged in the rear by the 21. And Meeks, who had led a lot of this race late, gets involved in this.
We're going to use this caution opportunity with 16 laps to go. Now coming to 15 to give a shout out to our final broadcast partner, Blackstone Management Partners. Blackstone Management Partners guarantees an unrivaled one-on-one approach with every client, providing them the solutions and services required to keep their dynamic brands thriving and one step ahead of the ever-changing consumer marketplace. Blackstone comprises expertise in marketing, communications, talent management, and event management. Working with our clients, we not only use traditional but state-of-the-art platforms, including mobile marketing, experimental marketing, and cause-driven marketing. Visit Blackstone Management Partners at www.bsmpartners.com. Thank you to Blackstone Management Partners once again for putting on the show tonight for the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, alongside Champion Power Equipment, of course, and Green Mountain Grills, being able to put on the show every single week for you guys, week in, week out. I mean, all season long, all year long, really, because these guys run from January to December, right? So we get a couple seasons in a year.
Oh yeah, love it. You know, the action never calms down, that's for sure. It never stops, and we absolutely love it. I love calling these races every week, and glad we have partners like these, the ones that you mentioned. And I'll tell you what, these guys are going to be upset going into Texas next week. You know, would not be surprised if some drivers next week give someone the horns.
And it's not like Texas is a super easy track to race side by side either. It's going to be a kind of tough one. 3 and 4 at Texas is very, very sketchy, especially in the trucks. It opened the season for the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series last season, and it was fantastic, unbelievable. Saw a crazy side-by-side photo finish. But it got very nervy through 3 and 4, especially towards the end of that race whenever they were running 2x2 so frequently. A lot of guys beating doors, a lot of guys getting spun out. James Harris, who had led most of the race, got spun out coming out of turn number 4 with about 3, 4, 5 laps to go in the season opener last year. So Texas is going to be a hoot next week.
Yeah, and he was the dominant driver in that race, I do believe so. Was not able to get it done. We'll see what he can do here tonight. I mean, he's been kind of having this thing where he's been locked up on the top side, not able to really get down. He needs a good restart. He needs to get clear to the bottom. Jason Taylor, though, possibly has a chance to win this race. Nathan Meyer, what does he do? Pace car down pit road.
11 laps to go at the line, this time by Jason Taylor on the inside of that number 15. Gets a great jump over Nathan Meyer, and Lucido follows him through into P2. What can Lucido do in that 73?
Yeah, Lucido, fantastic restart there. Can he get underneath the 15? A great job for the 55. Instead of like getting locked up on the top, he was able to cut down underneath the 24 and now rockets his way up to third.
The 73 gave a bumper to the 15 last time in 3 and 4. He does it again into 1 and 2. Huge shot that time to the back end of Jason Taylor. Moves him up the racetrack. Another side-by-side coming out of turn number 2. Down into turn 3. Lucido late on the brakes. Still keeps it to the bottom of the racetrack. Rotates the bottom and takes it away from Jason Taylor. But Taylor just barely stays to his right rear quarter panel and keeps it coming down into turn number 1.
Yeah, this race is definitely heating up. John Lucido for the first time up in the lead here. Aggressively wanting to win this race. James Harris now rocketing his way up to possibly second place as he gets clear of the 15. And here comes Nathan Meyer. Unfortunate for Jason Taylor. He's going to fall outside of the top 3 here. Falls in behind the 24. Oh, Tyler Meeks slow on the curb there. Able to save it. No caution.
James Harris on the back bumper of John Lucido here, coming in through 3 and 4. 7 laps to go this time by at the line. Does Harris use the bumper into turn 1? Stays off of him through the center of the corner, though. Right up on the back bumper of the 73. Keeps it clean. He can't afford to be clean for too much longer, though. If the caution comes out, he's screwed.
And what is he willing to do here? He gets up to the back end of the 73. He's going to try to move him out of the way. And he does. Caution flag is out as the 73 and the 77 get involved here. Of course, Jeff No hits the wall as well. Caution flag is out. James Harris, new leader. This is going to be one to unpack here.
Oh, boy. Well, I'm going to be straight up. I was straight up whenever I'm buddies with South, and I was straight up that I thought he was in the wrong with the Lucido wreck last time. I'm going to be straight up with this one. Lucido moved Jason Taylor twice to take the race lead. And, I mean, absolutely hit him hard the second time. And then he gets moved once in a very, very clean fashion from James Harris out of turn number 4. And he turns hard left to try to take him out. I can't defend that one bit. I don't get it. Jason Taylor was a good sport about getting moved from the race lead just a moment ago, and then Lucido got moved out of 4 and couldn't take it.
Well, we got to look at this one again for sure. I definitely want to see if we can get another view of this. Of course, we see Lucido right here off the roof cam, looking back at the 55. And I think this is where the little bit of a move happens.
Oh, it's next lap. Next lap.
We do see a little bit of wiggle on exit here. This sets it up. This is what sets it up, I do believe. Yep, there's a little bit of a touch there from the 50.
Yeah, but that's nothing. That's not even.
Able to get underneath. Still not able to get underneath him. Here's the touch. Right here. Moves him up the track. Just barely moved him. I mean, just touched.
Well, it's hard. He was super loose. I'm hard pressed to call that a hard turn left. I'd have to look at his in card to see if he was actually trying to take out James Harris. I think that we might need to get a replay of the on board to actually get a good call. So I might have to retract my statement from a moment ago. There might have been a little bit of extra left side contact from James Harris on the follow through. So might have to get one more look. I'm at least
my view on that. I don't think Lucido really did anything wrong. But
we gotta see his wheel right here. What's he do? No, he's turning right the entire time. I take it back completely. He was turning right. Just got a little loose. I didn't see the second bit of contact coming through. So I'm gonna have to take that back a little bit. Ends up being a little bit less clean from Harris than I initially assumed. But again, I don't know. It's just weird, man. They're just bumping each other coming out of turn 4 at Martinsville, and everybody's Everybody's pissed off. We've had 147 laps of straight cautions. So I don't see it what it is at this point. James Harris junked him, but he's my race pick, so I don't care. I'm the one that looks best at this point.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's angry. Everybody's going to do anything they can to win this race, and Harris, wants to win this race. I mean, I think in a lot of ways wants to do it for his father. I mean, I don't know the whole story, but I think something's going on where he wants to win it for his father.
Coming through 3 and 4. He's got the opportunity this time by natural green, white checkered. This time for the number 55 coming to the restart zone. Oh, James Harris back to the throttle. Doesn't get a good jump. Jason Taylor on the outside actually beats him to the line. James Harris dives it back deep into turn 1 to get side by side as Sabilo goes way wide as Harris takes the lead back.
Well, I'll tell you what happened there. William Mann Jr. jumped it, hit the back end of the 55, and it messed him up a little bit there.
Oh, Sabilo's wrecking!
Sabilo smashes the outside wall, and we get a caution just before the white flag is waved.
Man, this is the race that won't end. That's heartbreak for Sabilo. I cannot begin to describe to you from a driver's seat standpoint, because I've been in races where I feel like I should have won like Sabilo should have and gotten screwed out of it. I don't know if I've ever gotten as destroyed or hurt as Sabilo did tonight, because this is just, I've never seen it unravel so bad, and you can tell by how fast he how fast he hit the escape button to get off of the racetrack. how frustrated he was. I've never gotten to the escape button faster than what he just did right there.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it looks like Meeks, I think, slid up the racetrack into him. See right here, just right through.
Yep.
Just kills him. And that's unfortunate. I mean, it's a worse version of what we saw for Truex, I'd say, at Richmond. I mean, it's way worse.
Oh, yeah. Way worse. I mean, dude, and you know, everybody was clowning on Truex for that reaction, but dude, if you're in the moment, I mean, you've led 230 laps, you were about to take the white flag. Like, I get it. I totally understand why he was so frustrated, and I'm be honest with you, if this was real life, if this was real life, I bet you Keegan Sabilo might be using his car as a weapon like Truex did that night, because this has been a very rough race for Sabilo after that pit stop. I mean, just couldn't get the cautions to fall his way, right? They just kept falling, right? He just needed to stay out away just a little bit longer so he could take the race lead. It never happened, and then they finally come together, and it's completely thrown this race for a loop. I don't think anybody, even me who picked James Harris, thought that he would be leading the field to the green-white checkered at this point, but it's here. He's somehow leading the race, and Keegan Sabilo is behind pit wall.
Yeah, 100%. And I think going back to the beginning of the race, I described this track as infamous, as notorious. I think that clearly I was not just playing it up. This track is one of the most, I'd say, infamous racetracks on the NASCAR circuit, because, I mean, this is where enemies and rivals are made. I mean, this is where, you know, you're going to get hate mail for stuff you do at this track.
I mean, this is the racetrack that causes people to do crazy things. I mean, 2017, Chase Elliott get wrecked by Denny Hamlin. You remember that fan coming down on the pit road and trying to fight Denny Hamlin?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Like this racetrack just brings the bad out of people, man. I'm telling you, it really does. I mean, Matt Kenseth was not the kind of guy to torpedo somebody into turn one, and yet Martinsville got to him, man. Martinsville got to Matt Kenseth.
100%.
This racetrack, that was really the best fan reaction in NASCAR. I watched that video back a week ago just so I could see the fan reaction. It's fantastic every time. Coming down the back straightaway under caution, hopefully for the final time tonight. Actually, it's guaranteed for the final time tonight. This is our second green-white checker, so this will end the race no matter what. I have to point that out beforehand. So this, the next flag ends the race. James Harris coming down to the restart zone for the final time tonight under yellow, finding the flag man. Cannot wait to wave the green. James Harris takes it and easily scoots out to that lead, getting down to the turn number one. Nathan Meyer side by side with Jason Taylor for that second place spot.
Can the 55 hold on? Jason Taylor now trying to hold on to third, as you see Tyler Meeks rockets up the inside, as well as John Lucido. Oh, Taylor with a big wiggle.
The white flag's out, though.
It's the white flag.
The yellow's not going to come out. James Harris took the white. Nathan Meyer's running him down, coming out of turn number two. Does Meyer use the bumper to the back of the 55 as we've got George Young spinning? Nathan Meyer elects not to on entry, tries to cut him off on exit. But James Harris is going to bring it down to the checkered flag, and he's going to win at the Martinsville Speedway.
Look at Tyler Meeks. Hail Melon over here.
I wish he would have done that during the race. That would have been the perfect finale to this thing. I do know that it's nerfed to heck, though, so it would have slowed him down in time. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. James Harris is going to be your race winner tonight, the most improbable of comebacks. I don't even know how he got back up to the front. But he did. Big congratulations to James Harris.
There's a lot of people in the audience right now that are in our chat that are extremely happy. Harris is not the only one celebrating here tonight. What a win for the 55. As he doesn't want that truck to make it home.
Yeah, he is trying to make sure that this thing does not pass post-race inspection. He has completely destroyed it. I mean, as if it wasn't destroyed during the race. It was killed. Like we mentioned, his back bumper wasn't even on that thing. At one point, somehow one of the crew members ran out onto the racetrack mid-race, grabbed it, taped it back onto the deck lid, and it was fast enough to bring him home the checkered flag. Big congratulations to James Harris on the recovery drive tonight. And as he burns it down, we're going to send you off into our final commercial break of the evening. On the other side, we've got interviews. Stay with us. back to the Champion Power Equipment iRacing Truck Series. These are your final race results.
I think he was meant to say final race results. We'll go through it. James Harris, of course, your winner. Nathan Meyer finishes in second place. Tyler Meeks in third. John Lucido in fourth. William Mann Jr. finishes fifth. Brian Thacker recovers to finish sixth. Brian High in his first race finishes in seventh. Ray Kennison eighth. Jason Taylor ninth. 10th place, George Young. Keegan Sabilo, after dominating the first half of this race, finishes in 11th. Jeff Nove 12th. James South 13th. And Garth Snyder finishes 14th. All right, it seems like we're having some technical issues. Of course, we'll go ahead and go right into our interviews, though. And, of course, our first interviewee will be Tyler Meeks, if we can grab him. And I do not see Meeks. So we'll go right on into Nathan Meyer. All righty, we got him here in the booth. Nathan Meyer, how you doing? 24, you read me?
Yeah, I'm here. Gotcha.
All righty, great job out there today. I know it was up and down kind of night. Of course, you won last week at Chicago Land. What did you feel like heading here to Martinsville? I mean, you know this track's infamous. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not really good at the heavy braking tracks. I feel like I struggle a lot, and I self-spun once looking at the guy spinning out behind me. But, you know, it was actually cleaner than I expected it to be, even though there was a lot of cautions. A lot of it was self-spin outs or just getting loose on the exit. But, yeah, it was actually, I really enjoyed myself. It was fun.
Well, definitely glad that you had fun, because I know there was probably a lot of upset people here tonight.
Yeah.
A lot of drivers next week going into Texas are going to be probably looking at each other a little bit different. But, you know, Martinsville definitely in the rear view. How do you feel about Texas?
Texas is one of my favorite tracks, too, right up there with Chicagoland. It's a lot of fun. I've won a few top split races at Texas before. So, yeah, it's really fun. I really like it. Unfortunately, that becomes kind of a block fest, too, down the backstretch. So we'll see how that turns out. There's definitely some people upset with some other people.
100%. Of course, qualifying going to be a big deal
yeah.
at that racetrack. Of course, you are the points leader coming into tonight's race, and I think you're going to be the points leader leaving as well. And I think you actually have built up even more of a points lead, considering Sabilo had a terrible finish, even though he was really, really dominant here tonight. How does that make you feel? Does that give you more confidence? Does it, kind of make you more comfortable, I guess?
Yeah, it definitely allows me to not push to try to get one spot better and maybe wreck. Even at the end there, I'm happy James won because his dad's going through some stuff, and I definitely wasn't going to pass him. I don't think I would have had time anyway, but it definitely makes me be able to chill a little bit more and not take as many risks as I need to, and just kind of follow the leader. And if I'm there, I'm there.
All right.
Nice.
And it looks like I do believe Nathan Meyer, we just got it in. I do believe James Harris, of course, has moved up to, I do believe, second place in the points. And I do believe you have 4 points over him, Nathan, at the moment. Of course, who can we give a shout out after your second place finish?
Yeah, just shout out to you guys at Grid Vision, Champion for letting us do this, Scream Mountain Grills, and shout out to James for winning and his dad. And I hope everything goes well with that, and just prayers for James's dad.
All right, Nathan. Thanks for your time. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
All righty, that was Nathan Meyer, of course, driver of the 24 machine. Next up, we have James Harris, our winner in the 55. Finally breaking the drought that has been plaguing this 55 team. James, how are you feeling?
Man, I ain't gonna lie, I'm feeling great, but it's mixed emotions, because, I'm worried about my dad and all that. And I had my family watching tonight, and it's like I just got done telling them, I battled all night. I never gave up, and I don't want him to give up either. So I'm hoping he won't either.
100%. Well, definitely, sounds like you got a lot going on in your family, and we definitely saw them in the chat just over and over and over again saying go 55, things like that, always cheering you on. So it wasn't just you celebrating out there on the racetrack here. I mean, what did it take to get this win? I mean, it seemed like everything that could go wrong was going wrong, and then all of a sudden you found yourself up in contention again.
Man, I don't know what was left of my truck at the end there. I felt good at the beginning until I self-spun, and then at that point, for me, it was just really survival and not try to mess up too bad. And I got in the back end of a few people tonight. It wasn't on purpose. That's just how it is at Martinsville, and I feel bad for all those guys, Lacido and Thacker. I apologize to them guys, but I really think one thing that drove me tonight was after the adversity happened. We have a little group chat going on, and my sisters were texting me and they were pumping me up, and I think that gave me that little extra I needed to get that win. To be honest with you, this is maybe not one of my best tracks. I'm average here, and just to get the win here to break that drought, it means even more to me. And then I'm hoping we can carry this momentum next week to my best track of all of them and kick some butt next week.
Well, 100%. And I do believe you also had a really good points night tonight. I do believe that puts you second place in the points, which is quite a recovery from the beginning of the season. I know that, you seemed like you had kind of had a rough start to the season, but it looks like it's going to be working out for you as you go to your best track. What do you think you're going to bring to the table that was different from last time? Because I know you dominated that race last season, but you were not able to get the conclusion that you think you deserved.
I think what happened with me was I'm really good on the long run there. On the early run, I just try to maintain my track position without burning my stuff up. But what happened there was we had those late race cautions, and it bunched everybody up with just a few laps to go. And at that point, it just becomes basically a plate race. And part of it was I started on the high side, I believe, and I started getting in my own head, and I probably got a little timid. But the timidness is gone, I can tell you that for sure. So we're going to come balls to the wall next week and take no prisoners, that's for sure.
100%. I love that. I mean, and I think in a lot of ways you winning here this week is going to set you up for better success there next week as well, just considering you had been on a drought as it was when you didn't win last week at Texas. Now you've already broke through. I think this could lead to more wins this season. We'll have to see, James. Great job. Who can we give a shout-out to after your win here at Martinsville?
I hope so. Appreciate it. I want to say thank you to all my family for supporting me and watching me tonight and pumping me up. I love all you guys, and we're going to get through this. My wife, Courtney, for supporting me through all my racing over the years. Kevin Kirscher, Blackstone Management, Champion Power Equipment, Green Mountain Grills. I hope I didn't forget nobody. I'm all fuzzy headed right now, but I just want to thank everybody. It's been a fantastic run so far, and we had a blast tonight.
All right, James. Thanks for your time, and definitely prayers for whatever your dad's going through, and hopefully your whole family stays strong for sure, James. But congratulations on your win.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All righty, that was James Harris, driver of the 55 machine. What a performance for him tonight. I didn't have him winning. Of course, Austin Estrom, who's not here to gloat about his choice tonight, of course, he gets it. So awesome job to James Harris. Of course, I do believe we have the schedule for the rest of the week. Of course, we just concluded the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series at Martinsville. Tomorrow, we're going to go Thunderclap racing. Of course, one of my favorite series. I kind of miss calling these guys, but they're going to be at Michigan International Speedway. Of course, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, Friday, we're going to continue with the Ryko Performance NIS series. They're going to be at Martinsville, I do believe, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think, if I'm not mistaken, so it looks like they were at 9 p.m. Looks like they have switched because of the daylight savings to 8 p.m. Eastern. But the rest of the week, of course, we will be essentially free and clear. So hopefully you have yourself a great rest of your week. But we definitely appreciate everybody out there tuning in here to the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series here on Grid Vision. Of course, Austin Estrom was the lead commentator here tonight. He's having some issues, but we definitely appreciate all the work he does here with Grid Vision. Of course, thanks as well to Austin Derbyshire for all the fantastic camera angles and, of course, the overlay work. Man, he just got all the action for everybody out there. Of course, we appreciate everybody watching. Thanks to James Harris's family and anybody else's family that was watching tonight. We definitely appreciate it. My name's Brian Britt. You've been watching Grid Vision. We'll see you next time.